They're the ones who make it happen. They're the ones who get it done. And that's why we shine the spotlight on them on Business for Breakfast. It's time now for the Business Leaders Spotlight on Money Radio.
Well, it is that time of the week once again. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:35 a.m., we have the unique opportunity to sit down and visit with some of the Valley's business leaders, both men and women, making a difference here in our own backyard, in our community, and our cannabis community. Thanks our next guest quite a bit. Let me introduce you to Michael Cassini. Back in 2018, he started Cannabis Cactus Magazine. It's a monthly magazine, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Free.
Yep, free. And this last month, we had my good friend Amy Van Dyken on the cover. Michael Cassini, our guest this morning on Business for Breakfast. How you doing, Mike?
Absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, Mark.
I appreciate you coming down. I love the hoodie. Blazy.
Yes, sir.
Not lazy. Blazy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Tell me, when you decided to put this together back in 2018, just kind of your thoughts. Obviously, that was... Remind me, when did the legalization happen? Right around there?
We were medical back then, but it was quite a big market, and that led into the recreational, in the following election. But
that was the following election.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
yeah, I couldn't remember the date.
But a big medical program here, still had over 100 dispensaries, and pushing $1 billion a year in revenue. So
absolutely crazy the revenue that's out there, and the stigma of the cannabis industry has changed so much. I mean, and rightfully so, right? Instead of having to buy it, on a street corner or through a friend or something like that, now you just go into a nice store, you go shop around, you got these experts teaching you what's what. There's gummies, there's chocolates, there's the good old-fashioned stuff. You got a little bit of everything.
In a lot of ways, we've come mainstream. In a lot of ways, we're still hiding under the rock to speak to your program and money. Hopefully, my banking's not influenced by being here today.
I don't think it will be.
In jeopardy. But, yeah, there's still a lot of obstacles on the back end and on the infrastructure side. But as far as what the customers see, it's like buying an iPhone. You're walking into a beautiful store and being served, by competent associates and have a lot of products to choose from.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It could be a little overwhelming, right, if you walk into some of these dispensaries, because some of them got fancy names and blueberry lemonade, blah, 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 and you're like, I don't know what this is,
Mm-hmm.
They'll walk you through what effect you're trying to get. Some people are trying to,
Absolutely.
Get some pain relief and a good night's sleep. Others want to just kind of be awake and alert and have some fun. There's so many different ways to approach it.
It really appeals to everybody that you don't have to be, have toured with the Grateful Dead to,
to enjoy.
to enjoy or to be able to bring it up at work even these days. Everybody's sharing their gummies.
Right.
And those types of things have gone mainstream. It's not as much about bong hits, as it used to be. So.
Yeah. College is over. Michael Cassini is our guest, editor-in-chief, founder of Cannabis Cactus Magazine. And I feel like your magazine has grown since 2018, right? Just the way you do it, the presentation. It looks really good.
I appreciate that. As far as adventures, every year we've got something new that I never could have imagined. So definitely blessed with the amount of people that we've been able to interact with, different leagues, sports leagues, UFC, NBA. We have our NBA in association with the Phoenix Suns Day coming up on March 21st, where we bring our sponsors together and just unite the community. This year, as you mentioned, Amy Van Dyken, she was kind of my focus to say, hey, let's get the Abilities 360 wheelchair basketball team out there, and let's have a all-inclusive athlete experience. So that's a chance for our type of sponsors to come into a mainstream type of event where they're not normally welcomed. So that's kind of something we push for versus staying on the cannabis side. We want everybody to have access not only to our products, but to our marketing and to our message.
Amy's a great lady. Well, a lot of gold medals, tough girl. I love, and what she went through and how she's now, living that way and being a spokesperson and a, people can look up to in that, area.
Huge in our community. And obviously she's not the only one, but to do that on her own goodwill and her own free time is a blessing to business owners, consumers, and everybody involved.
All right, so give me the idea. You're putting this together. You have other writers. It's not just you, right?
Yeah, when I put out the first issue, I was the only writer, and that kind of led to a call that, doctors, attorneys, I just had put my phone number in there originally, back in 2018, and maybe that was just the right time in our city for that information. But since then, I've worked with some world-class writers from everywhere from Cigar Aficionado to CNN, and different people that have come to us and contributed. That's really elevated my content and allowed us to then work with the top companies and feel serious about what we do.
I'm going through the December issue. There is a infused jardiniere. Jardiniere is one of my favorite things ever. Put on a sandwich, and now you're telling me I can.
I mean, an Italian dipped beef, and that's out of Chicago.
Absolutely.
So we do have some sponsors from around the nation and readers as well. So we do a monthly mailing list that goes out to those types of businesses. And if you're here in the Valley, you can pick up the paper publication for free at your favorite dispensary or.
So these are all throughout the dispensary.
Business, yes,
and
sir,
so
absolutely.
you don't charge for the magazine, obviously. You have sponsorships, and you continue to grow. I got to ask you, how do you continue to keep up? I know it's a monthly magazine, but the content, right? Like you don't want to keep telling the same story. So when you're doing stuff like Amy Van Dyken or the sponsorships with teams and stuff like that, how you're a newspaper magazine guy, right? Like
try to be everywhere all the time, and the community helps me a lot with that. Just by being inclusive to as many people as I can and keeping some hyper local stories. I think that's kind of what allows. And then every once in a while you get a call from UFC or the Suns call and say, hey, we heard about what you're doing. Would you like to come join up for a group event? And those things just come out of nowhere. I never expect it. You just have to be brave enough to pick up the phone.
Yeah, absolutely. Michael Cassini, our guest this morning, the founder of Cannabis Cactus Magazine, editor-in-chief. You can read some of his stories. I think, is that your brother, Joe?
Yes, sir. Joseph, he makes our layout. Helps me with the graphic design. This is not something that I went to college for. I was a marketing major, and
Got it.
I'm lucky to have some crossover there, but I have a lot of help with our graphics and things like that, whether it's T-shirts and merch or putting it on the website. So,
what do you think the future of the industry is? Like, again, we go from only medical, then to recreational, and that's in Arizona, but it's not legal across the United States yet, right? I mean, there's still a lot of states that you can't do it.
Yeah, that's true, but there is a lot of influence in everywhere from, we'll use Texas as an example, where we're doing about $1 billion in revenue here in Arizona. The hemp industry that took off with the passing of the Farm Bill in 2018, that allowed hemp to really blow up across the nation, mail order business on websites, and some of these states are pushing $20 billion a year.
Wow.
And that's how much hemp they're selling. So we could get into the differences of what classifies hemp and cannabis. But we support the state licensed dispensaries. We support the hemp trade and everybody that's putting out clean, medicine for people to use for therapy or for their own recreation.
So do you think all 50 will be allowed at
so
some
I
point?
think
or?
to put that into perspective, we don't see any changes yet, and we try to stay out of the 3 to 6 month news cycle because you hear it constantly that,
Right.
oh, we're going to decriminalize, oh, they're going to reschedule. They've already postponed that. The DEA was supposed to come out and possibly change from, the scheduling of cannabis. From Schedule 1 to Schedule 3, and we don't, until that actually happens, we don't try to speak too much to it, but definitely want people to understand that the hemp products that are being sold in even your local gas station and boutiques across the nation there's a lot of safe products and a lot of good therapy and value in those. And then your state licensed dispensaries, get the knowledge from them, go in there and check them out as well. So it's just growing across the board.
We talk about alcohol, right? And we know alcohol does bad things to our body, right?
Anything, I guess, in excess, huh? Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I've never heard of THC or cannabis. You know what I mean? Like, oh, my liver gave out because I smoked weed for 20 years. But if you drink hard alcohol for 20 years, your liver might quit, right? And so I think people are shifting is my point, Michael. Like,
oh, yeah.
Instead of going and getting hammered, they might have a gummy and just kind of chill out and relax. You still shouldn't drive. But,
well, no, beautiful to have that option, and we're all different, but 100% want to have at least the same opportunity that alcohol has, and if we could follow their model and be welcome in the places they are,
yeah,
that education will help people understand, how to use it, what it's for, responsibly, of course.
Yeah.
But you're right. They don't say 2 glasses of wine anymore is healthy. Even that's changed. You know?
I know.
Any drop is not necessarily beneficial.
Many
to
people
health,
are asking, so is it 3? I'm just
kidding. Was it more or less?
Is it more or less? Hey, before I let you go, this is really cool. I appreciate you coming down. I know you're friends with some of my guys, Stoltze over at Willie's Taco Joint. He's
They've
big in
been
the
great
cannabis
to us.
world. Yeah,
Absolutely. Willie's Taco Joint downtown Phoenix, the Phoenix Suns, Arizona Diamondbacks, working with that whole downtown group. Great to see our downtown grow into something.
Yeah, no, it's great. So tell people again, I know you mentioned it again, but how they can get the magazine, the website, because there's a digital version as well, right?
Absolutely. CannabisCactus.com. Check us out anytime for daily news, education, entertainment. And then monthly, about 20,000 copies here in our greater Phoenix area. At your favorite dispensary, Curaleaf, Mint Dispensary, Nirvana Centers. Shout out to them for supporting us for so many years. And, of course, as you mentioned, Willie's Taco Joint, these other restaurants and businesses, thank you guys so much. We're proud to be a magazine that's known as always free, never prickly. And thank everyone for that support.
I was just about to say that. That was good. I'm glad you said that. When does the magazine usually come out? Like mid-month?
About the first week, mid-month. And just goes across the board. We hand deliver them to every dispensary, and you can check out your horoscope in the back or learn something about finance, policy, anything you're interested in.
It's really cool, man. I like what you're doing. I appreciate you letting us shine the spotlight on you and all what you got going on over there at Cannabis Cactus Magazine. And let's have you back in here soon, all right?
I appreciate that, Mark.
Good to see you.
Guys.
Michael Cassini, the founder, editor-in-chief of Cannabis Cactus Magazine, the go-to in the cannabis industry. And you can, again, check them out online if you want to see the digital version, CannabisCactus.com. Very simple. And then you'll see old Amy Van Dyken and our good friend. I'm going to read that story. I look forward to it. Thanks for bringing in a copy.
Absolutely.
Michael Cassini, our business leader spotlight on this Friday morning.